Rich Rising, it's day 64 of 365, and right now, today's message, but right now, we are witnessing what it is like to abuse one's free will. We've been witnessing it. Obviously, we are in an era where we can see things immediately. We are getting stuff told to us left, right, and centre, and what we are witnessing is what happens when human beings use their free will in awful ways, and try to justify it. But what it also shows is how far from love, how far removed from love and loving ourselves human beings are, because there's no way in hell you can love yourself and actively go out into the world and harm innocent people. There's no way that, and I mean that because even if you think about any time that you've ever got into an altercation or anything, what it brings in you, and even when it's just, so, you know, for example, if you're defending yourself, you get this sensation of anger, right? And it can be overpowering, overbearing, but it will take you wherever you need to go in that moment. But it's ignorant to think that that there's no emotion, there's no kind of compassion or consideration after, you know, like even if it's a minor regret of how you handled the situation in the moment, you acted impulsively, right? And so what we're seeing on a larger scale with what's going on in the world is people, human beings, enacting their free will and having no remorse. They're operating from, it's almost like they are zombies themselves, because if you love yourself, how could you behave in such a way? And your explanation for behaving in a way that you're behaving is greed. Who does that serve? Who does that serve? And I think what we're also witnessing is just an accumulation of lies upon lies upon lies that have been told to us continuously to brainwash us and make us believe that some of us are more capable than others. Some of us have a right to behave in a certain way than other people. It's just all lies. And as hard as it is, the most beautiful thing that can come out of it is really the realisation and awakening of human beings to the fact that there is no reason that we can't live in harmony. And I understand that obviously things are going to happen. Things always happen. That's life, you know. But I also think that's also the importance of communication, especially communication when you're not operating from a space of greed. Like if you're going into anything and you decide that, well, this is how it's going to be because you get to dictate that this is how it's going to be, that's not communicating effectively. That's not negotiation. That's not actually trying to work together. That's dictatorship. You know, you think you're the boss, so you're going to dictate what happens and how it happens. And it's like, we can operate, we're aware of that. Nature shows us that every single day. Wildlife shows us that all the time. Yes, there is still death, there is still harm, but it works in a more harmonious way, you know. So I just think this time is really a massive wake-up call, and we've been having massive wake-up calls. This has been a continuous thing for a long time, for a very long time, but I guess we could say since 2020, 2019, 2020, we've been really forced to open our eyes and work on our perspective, or become aware of our perspective and how it can be a massive hindrance to us as humanity, as human beings. I think that what we're seeing is free will play out in such a negative way, and a way that it doesn't have to be like this. What excuse do you have for murdering children? What excuse do you have for attacking places that you know are of importance to every country? What excuse do you have? And greed is not an excuse. Greed is a sickness. Greed is human beings greatest ugliness. It's the greatest sickness that human beings carry. Greed. For it's just sickening. It's really sickening. And so I guess the call more than ever, always, just it's growing louder and louder, is the importance of loving ourselves, because the people around these people that are doing awful things, if they loved themselves, wouldn't they take a look at themselves and think, actually, how is this helping anyone? So you're not saying that, oh, I'm over here, so I'm important and only we matter, so we can go and do this over there and it's okay. You're actually bringing everything closer to yourself immediately, and you're thinking about, this action that I'm going to take is going to cause harm to someone else, whether they're immediately next to me or not. And if you're aware of that and actually have a heart, and actually love yourself, then surely you'd be like, actually no, and you put your arms down. Like, no amount, and I think this is where human beings have been brainwashed as well, because no amount of money, no amount of numbers in your bank account should ever persuade you to do wicked and evil things. And so it's very deep, it's very you've got to really dig deep and start looking at yourself as a person and think about your values and think about the way that you move through this world. Because I think for a very long time, and it's very easily done, you can operate in a way where, you can just act as if things are not happening. And obviously, when you're not in certain parts of the world, you just keep up this habit of getting on. But I think that trickles down into everything. So that is then also people's approach literally to everything. Oh, well, it didn't happen to me, so don't have to worry about it. If I just ignore this situation, it will go away. If I don't talk to this person about the thing that they disclosed to me, then we can just carry on like normal. I think that as human beings, we've created a massive amount of cognitive dissonance that allows us to ignore our failings of loving ourselves as individuals. Because if we loved ourselves more as individuals, I genuinely know that would play a massive part in how everyone operates across the board. And so it is very ignorant and arrogant to turn a blind eye, in the sense of wait until things get closer to home or something happens to you. It's such an important time to just at least hold awareness and look at yourself. Look at the way that you operate. Are you operating out of greed? All of these things, and how does the way that you operate show that you do or don't love yourself? And it really is, for me, it is really taking it back to literal basics. Because as I said already, I genuinely know that if you love yourself, then the kind of things that are going on that people are happily putting themselves forward to do, or creating machines to do awful things, is just a prime example of human beings using free will in the worst way possible. Think of all the amazing things that human beings could do. Think of all the change that could be brought about. Think about the freedom that could be provided for not just some human beings, not the top whatever percent it is, everybody. And also think about why that is such a threat to people. Why is living peacefully in harmony such a threat to people? It's a sickness, no doubt. It's a sickness to think that you are superior than anyone else, and to think that you get to take life. You get to take life and be careless, especially with innocent. What happened to protecting women and children? Where's that gone? But yeah, protecting women and children, but also protecting ourselves as a whole, because that's how we function. It's a whole world. So just really pay attention to this time, and pay attention to how the ugliness of human beings is really showing itself. How human beings are choosing to use their free will, and make sure you're choosing to love yourself.